G'day guys and welcome to a quick review of Canterbury for the 10th of May, or Wednesday. Rail in the 6 metre positions, usually a good run-on position, which is not normal to rails going out around tyre tracks. Usually that bears to leader's advantage, but for whatever reason around Canterbury that tends to maybe help them run off that top bend and sweep a bit better than they do when the rail's in the true position. So not expecting it to be too dire tomorrow with a good track expected. Usually that sort of evens it out a bit. When it gets a little bit wet, it's when it really becomes a bit of a slingshot down the outside there. So probably, still somewhere near the paces where you want to be, and maybe getting off that fence a little bit around the turn helps a minor advantage. First race of the day is for the 3-year-olds, 5-foot runners with the scratching of Prickles. Dream I Can and Free Sky came out of the same race. Dream I Can really copped a really nice ride there. Has already had the 3 runs back, was probably peaking there and couldn't run down Noir, who had pretty solid form. Free Sky was only first up and is open to a little bit of improvement, but I'm a little bit wary of it as a horse. Anui is resuming for her second preparation. Showed good speed in her first trial over 1,000, then went back in the field in a really fast run. 1,000 behind Russian Revolution and hit the line okay there. Interesting horse who's obviously adaptable and should run well here. The horse that really takes my attention the most is this horse Forever Dream. I want to show its 2 trials. So this was its first trial. It races in the colours similar to Australian Bloodstock, in the blue with the white and black check sleeves. Doesn't really know what it's all about there at the start and gets back a bit. Looks to be running on complete fear here. Just wanted to identify that there's a couple of horses that did go to weaker grade, but really fast run races in Latin Boy and Manic and run well from this trial. They're the only ones to run. The horse here in the reds, Montreal, very smart horse that hasn't resumed for its second preparation yet, but really had some strong form lines around it its first prep. So there's some quality here, and you'll see that this horse back here is the horse we're interested in, Forever Dream. Just gets a squeeze there for the first time. You'll see that he's not in the picture. And what he's doing here late under a grip is quite interesting. So this horse that he was basically alongside at that 200 metre mark, who is scrubbed and not going that well. He's under no riding here and ends up running in behind these horses under a vice, like he's really trying to pull him up there and he's running away from him. So he's identified there as an interesting horse. You don't learn too much from that trial for mine, but you learn that it's got something. It's done everything wrong, and it's then gone to an open trial over 1,000 metres 10 days later. Jumped a lot better here in this position. Straight on the bridle. Really could have led the trial if they wanted to. Probably wasn't in a position to, and they're trying to teach it to settle, no doubt. Ends up in behind these horses, and once again, this is a fairly race-fit horse in Gabon. It's halfway through a preparation, so you expect it to trial well. The horse in here's Morton's Fork, who's obviously a black-type runner. Awinda's a well-performed horse out wide here. And you'll see that this horse in behind, Forever Dream, just really travels extremely strongly. There's a few give-ups for that. You'll just see that the action of the rider's really not moved at all. Even Morton's Fork's getting a bit of a tickle, and you'll see he's nearly awkward. You'll see the horse is nearly pulling him out of the saddle wanting to run. So that's they've run pretty solid time for that trial, and that's an open class trial. It's obviously dropping back to a 3-year-old maiden. I'll be very surprised if he doesn't measure up. Let's just put it that way. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's a pretty special little horse out of a Group 1 winning mare, I believe in. Of course I can. So covering, sorry for me there. I've Forever Dream clearly on top. The price is obviously gone. They put up $8. It's into $2.90. May get out a little bit tomorrow, and the horse I'm most scared of is probably Anui if it heads to the front and dictates from that position. Dream I Can's fit once again, but I think it's had its chances. I really think Forever Dream's going to be extremely difficult to hold out. Race 2 and a much more difficult race for mine. No confidence in this race at all. Grand Theft Auto and Sea Glass come out of the same race as a lead up. Grand Theft Auto was hard fit there, was dragged back from the start from the wide gate and sustained a run to the finish, but was a little bit pace assisted there and really never got near the lead or looked a threat at any stage, so hard to really get too excited about it. I think 1200 here is as far as she wants, and I'm a little bit concerned about her. Kissing Game's been well backed in early betting and has trialled okay. John Thompson horses are prone to sharp improvement on race day at times, so I do respect the money, but I'm just a little bit concerned about where it's going to get to in the run. The leader has been scratched in Madonica. I wasn't aware of that, to be honest, so taking it out now should add further interest to this race. The 7's already come out in Plucky Dame, and so is the 11 Shantu. So it'll be interesting to see. Tactics will now be a bigger part, I think. There's really, all Sasachi's got a bit of speed, but you've got some first starters here that'll probably play a part in that speed battle as well. I'm sure Seaglass won't be too far away with Bowman on board, and Grand Theft Auto may settle a bit closer from the gate with a bit more aggressive early jockey in Brenton Abdullah. It's a race I've got absolutely no interest in, really, as it's just full of queries and nothing that I really want to chase up. Organza's trialled average, draws awkwardly. Seaglass obviously okay on debut, but a little bit flat, open to improvement, and if it's well backed, it'll probably go close. Tuxha Mink's an interesting horse, had its first start over 1,000 metres in the provincials and now comes straight to town 1,200. It's just a scary race for mine with no true answer. I'm sure betting will be a strong guide, and it's just a race of nightmares for me. Race 3, and on the early scratchings, Icon of Dubai. Starting from the top, scratch this horse. Icon of, Angel's Boy is a horse that's of solid interest for mine. It's run exceptionally fast time last time out in winning a trial. It's won 3 trials 2 times, once before Christmas, came back and looks a much stronger horse. The only query for mine are they are short course trials too, like it's 2 740 or 735 and 741 metre trials. But she looks strong. I like that she's both times settled in behind, been given a bunny. She doesn't show dynamic turn of foot, but she looks to build through her gears there, which is it just took her a little bit of time to flatten out. She does show a little bit of acceleration, but does look strong. She's obviously got pace, which she'll need from a wide gate tomorrow, but that doesn't look impossible in this particular race. Angel's Boy's out here again, covers a bit of ground, and again gets a shake up here, and just looks to have gears to mine, just looks to really be building through the gears there, and looks really strong late. That was the trial I really like. Fast time there, fast last sections, done a lot of good stuff. That stands it in good stead for this race. If it can cross, I really think it'll run a race. It looks just a genuine Waterhouse type of on speed and tough. Heliosphere is interesting for mine. The trial didn't look exceptional, but I do think it looks an improving type. Sebring colt, and does look a big price, around $31 from the soft gate. High Dive's had been in 2 nice races and run really well on both occasions. Chased Risen really hard there, who failed on the Gold Coast over the weekend, but that's no big worry. I do just a little bit concerned that he'd had the start over 11, good effort back in grade a little bit if anything, and back in trip, and just struggled to run down risen there and wasn't overly strong on the line. So I'm a little bit concerned about that form overall. Gets gate 1 and Chad Lever, which is a bit of a quandary as well in this race, where it looks like it possibly will get back and on the fence. Hong Kui Gong was a really good effort on debut. A heavy track is obviously a bit of an interesting issue. I'll just have a quick look at this. It's Hong Kui Gong's back here. Sorry, just ends up in the back third of the field. Back here, and then eventually draws away with the winner. Time's good. Was a little bit pace assisted, but not an easy track to run on the day, and really digs in and fights hard late. My only issue is that was 1200 on a heavy track first start in a race. Now goes 15 days, I believe, since that, into a good track, wide gate, and stays at 1200 metres. Whether that run's taken any effect on the horse, where it's going to get into the run here, or how it's going to affect a dry track. So even though there's plenty of merit in that run and it makes it hard to beat in this race, I'm not sure where it's going to get to, and it's a bit tricky. The two Godolphin runners are both trialled very well. Canterbury's a first starter, 2,000 metre trials this time in. Really nice on both occasions. Malahat had good form, has had 2 preparations, so it's an experienced horse 3 times in now, and they had the 1,050 metre trial overrun a little bit late there by a really talented and fitter stablemate. But when we look back and have a look at see, like, it's got form in its last preparation around Minari, Pariah, Invader. They're all gone on to Group 1 successes, not wins for all of them, but they've all run well at Group 1 level. Very hard to ignore that horse coming to a race like this, and rules the other horse in the betting down in the page. I wasn't too taken by its trials. Same with Star of Africa. I'd be wanting really strong betting moves to say that there's been strong improvement from the Snowden camp to entertain those 2 runners. So for me, Angel's Boy clearly on top from the 2 Godolphin runners in Canterbury and Malahat. Tough to split them for different reasons. Malahat's obviously got the form on the board, but for them to put Abdullah on Canterbury, I think they must have a higher opinion of the 2, and interested to see how they go. But Angel's Boy around the $7 mark, the play for mine. Race 4, and a race that looks really attractive for one runner in particular here. I won't spend too much time in the race. I just find things against my Giuliano. Be Like Dad's going up sharply in distance and getting away from its probably preferred wet track. Dowds and Charlie still probably needs racing. Nothing Box is the horse that I really like and looks set up well. I think More Energy's too down for a 1900 and will get stuck back on the fence and may struggle. His Kalaki is an interesting horse, second up, jumping 350 metres in distance off a run, off a slow tempo that really didn't suit. Probably need one more, but I'm interested and think $15 is fair enough for it. Red Dubois had everything go right last start and really did race quite well and has a good chance again here in a race that doesn't look to suit too many. And Tumultuous and Lead Choreographer both come out of a really slowly run and average time race. They did get home okay there. So not totally sacking the form, but a little bit concerned about it. And I'm more concerned about Lead Choreographer than Tumultuous. I thought he was entitled to be a little bit stronger late there, and the 3-year-old definitely got the better of him. So Nothing Box is the run I want to show. They went along in a really strong tempo here. It did have a good run in transit, but still had to do a bit of work. I'll see it crossing in behind the speed here. Should get a run, probably lead if it wants to. Bowman rides, and to here chasing the two leaders who overdo it a little bit. Obviously, Multitude's come out and won out of this already. He had the harder run than Nothing Box, but still Nothing Box is off the bit and chasing a long way out here. So does a good effort, does a good job to put those 2 leaders away and just beaten by the Swooper, who had the colder sit and softer run in transit. He doesn't shirk his task there. He was going up 300 metres in trip, 21 days between runs, even though he had a trial leading into this. So he's only going to be better for it. He should dictate this race, and there's just nothing suited in the race other than him for mine. So I think something around the 2-to-1 mark's well fair enough to include and take come race time tomorrow. Race 5. Well publicised that Slow Burn was very unlucky last start. They probably shouldn't have let the race go when they did, and it probably cost her the race. I'm really taken by that form, and I think Siskin is a very nice horse that'll come out and continue to probably be tough to beat in anything that Godolphin produce it in very soon. I think Pound Sterling's not an apprentice's horse. It's had 2 poor rides this preparation, so it's open to improvement. Wayanka was very well ridden last start. Found a race where it had a bit of a fitness edge over them due to only a slight let up with the trial, and was too strong. Pelorus Jack, the second horse, has come out and won a maiden since, but in saying that, it doesn't look extraordinarily strong race. It just looked well placed there. It does look well placed again here from a soft gate, and if they overdo it up front, it could be the one that just is in the right place at the right time. Aquatic's an interesting horse. Had no luck at all really since that won convincingly in January. Its runs have been fairly spaced and definitely 2 forgive runs its last 2 starts. So it's a horse that can improve, but again from gate 1 probably will get back and may need luck. Best guess, broke through for a really strong win over the 1100 metres at Gosford 2 starts back. Bit of a nothing run last start back in distance. I'm not sure what the story was there. It was on the back up, and I'm willing to forgive it, possibly. Up to 1250 metres is a bit of a query, and where it gets to in the run's also a query. I'm sure they'll probably push forward up in distance, and it'll be up there somewhere. Noir's a very interesting horse. 2 1200 metre runs full of merit. Got out to back to 1100 last start. Well ridden, the pattern suited, and finished strongly. It's been in 3 strong races in its career so far. Just concerned about where it gets to from gate 12 tomorrow and how big a start it gives. Relaxed was okay first up, peaked on its run late on a heavy surface, and is open to a little bit of improvement, and the rest are going to struggle for mine. I think Slow Burn's the one to beat, no doubt about that. $2.50 seems okay odds. I'd love to be able to bet in the run after 150 metres. If I can see if this horse finds a position either in front or somewhere on pace with cover would be excellent. And if it does, it's clearly the horse to beat here. She's a pretty talented horse going on her first start. I think Wayank is probably the danger. Aquatic best guess. Next best, I think whoever finds the best run out of those sort of 3 horses is the danger. And I'm a little bit scared of Pound Sterling, but an enigmatic type that's drawn horribly with a big weight and a query jockey on board, so it's hard to trust it, but I wouldn't be surprised if it did something. Race 6 is an ugly little race for mine. There's nothing really well suited. Gaban's 46 days between runs, and has the winkers applied. Gets the apprentice. I'm not sure it's an apprentice horse, but definitely that form like of last start running 4th behind John Snow. Chimed in around the turn and really just ran out of legs late there, but does look a promising type. Has been back to the trials and trialled really well since. Looks ready to go. Just a concern probably over the rider and this horse and how well they get along. Yeah, Bravo led and dictated last start. Probably tries to do the same thing again here and goes up marginally in distance, 150 metres off a 1400 metre run last start. Probably gives them something to chase. I thought Kadiro found the right maiden last start. He's on the up, so can't completely knock it, but from 13 gate looks to give some decent horses a big start here. Sweet Adeline was just out sprinted last start, sat up on the pace, which was the first time that they'd tried that with her. They throw the blinkers on today from a soft gate, and she can improve. The lugging bit goes on Mullover, who was just had no luck at all last start when building momentum and held up in the straight. Definitely another solid improver. Shield Ball put away Lechat last start. I didn't think Lechat really let down like she can, but still they've run good time, and he did look strong on the line. So with Bowman to ride, it's hard to knock the horse. I think the winning chances are probably I'd have Bravo on top because it's probably going to get the most control. I wouldn't be surprised if Garban, Sweet Adeline, Mullover, Shield Ball won the race, and it doesn't look any huge value or anything too exciting to entice you into wanting to bet in this race. Maybe a very small play on Bravo if those on pace and on the fence are of any advantage or can win by this stage of the day. Lucky last in a race, which it just looks like it's mad pressure. Probably get the right race up will help. There's a lot of horses here that want to push forward from wide gates, and there's a few here that want to kick up from inside gates. So it's interesting play here early, and I really think there should be some good pressure, and that should lead to a few of the favoured horses being vulnerable. I think that Military Machine's been able to lead and dictate, sit outside the leader and then lead last start and dictate, and got away with 2 races. It's been well placed. I think could even be a better horse ridden cold. So I'm not saying it can't win this race, but I think they're going to have to chance their hand and really ride a patient race from that wide gate. It can win. Bratislava's effort was okay first up, sitting outside the leader. Obviously the fence was the place to be, and outside lead even was tough that day. So draws the inside gate this time. I see it sort of being 3rd or 5th defence, and chasing and needing a bit of luck. If it's the horse 3rd defence and chasing a leader and gets off and pinches a break, it can definitely win. But I think it needs quite a bit of a few things to go its way to be in that position and winning the race. So $4.20 is probably short enough. Coolcraft was okay first up in an average race. Did look held up, but was suited by the pattern and things that happened there. So, around $7.50 is probably okay for it, but I wouldn't want to be taking any shorter, that's for sure. Stablemate Awesome Sam's first up at 60 to 1, and I think he can run a race. Interesting to see the blinkers coming off. They're probably looking to think that it needs a quiet one here and may improve, but I think it can jump out of the ground without surprising. Hillspy, interesting. Bowman going aboard, can be suited by a strong run 12.50 and can be finishing on. Tiger by the Tail and Drill Master down the bottom. Tiger by the Tail has come back a more genuine horse for mine. With a low weight and a wide gate, it can stay out of trouble here and put in a run. Drill Master the opposite's drawn an inside gate with the apprentice and was again only got 51 kilos, but at 25 to 1 can run a race. And the horse I'm really quite interested in, and I've marked equal favourite, and it's currently $41, is Fig Tree. I've got time for this horse. It's had a spell and then a spell straight away, so it really hasn't had a lot of racing recently. Obviously went to the races underdone here, and this was the day the fence was really, really hot. We've got the horse in Roguish here who races just off the speed and off the fence, comes out and wins the Saturday race Sins. So it's a strong enough race for this race, and we'll see Fig Trees out here in the Gwenda Markle's colours, or owner's colours, Sandblom I believe it is, colours. Drifts back well beyond midfield. I'll notice here I don't think it's got cover. I think it's 4 wide without cover. I think this horse is 3 wide. So on a day where it's very difficult to sit wide, and here's Roguish in here. This horse has just covered ground, and eventually ends up getting shuffled and basically run off the track. It's not too far off here, and this is a horse I thought ran really well in. Skilled, this is Roguish finishing not too far in front. Racing a little bit closer to the speeds, obviously a bit tougher for Roguish, but did have a better run for mine than Fig Tree. And Fig Tree, even though it runs last, is not a bad last. I think from gate 4, rider change, honest tempo where it'll relax and sit back and be able to come with a run. Hopefully the pattern will be suiting those down the outside. This horse Fig Tree can run a big race at 40 to 1 for mine. I do give a chance to quite a few roughies here. In maybe Coolcraft's got a chance at $8. I think Bratislava can win, but needs things to go its way. And I can't be backing it at the price, but I'll be throwing it in quaddies or things of that nature. $31. Hillspy looks a good price. Military Machine's an interesting run if they ride it quiet. I'd be risking it if they go forward. Tiger by the Tail at 25 to 1 is definitely one I'll be throwing in, and same with Drill Master at 25 to 1. So I could play a few roughies here, but really want Fig Tree to be a really good result if it wins at the $41, $34 mark that it currently is. I think it's probably the value runner of the day in a race that looks high pressure. So that's the run through for Canterbury. Hopefully we have a bit of luck and the track plays fairly, and away we go Scone coming up Friday, Saturday this week. There's obviously a good meeting in Brisbane as well. I'll hopefully try and get a look at that, as I'll be down in Scone, so I'll do a review if I can. If not, I'll just put the written stuff up like I normally do. Thanks, guys.